Well, hello everybody out there in internet land. This is Chris from HHN with another exciting episode of Topher's Log. Obviously, it's been a crazy week. The world went from 0 to 1,000 very quickly, especially here in America. Things escalated quickly. Obviously, I'm talking about the spread of the coronavirus. We've had the theme park closings, Universal, Disney, SeaWorld, Legoland. Everything just kind of fell like dominoes. There are other things that got canceled, concerts, shows, all that stuff, all in an effort to stop the spread of the coronavirus before people get infected and they overrun the hospitals all at once. That's why things are closing, or delayed, and sports and all that stuff. Everything went really wacky last week, or this past week. Last week, it's been a crazy week. I'm not going to go too much into that. Just be safe out there. Wash your hands. Try not to touch your face. Don't be an idiot either. Don't be racist. Don't be a xenophobe. Don't be just be nice to people. Help people that are most vulnerable to the virus. Just be nice. Like, I don't understand why people have to be such dicks about things. Just be nice to people. There's a lot. It's a good thing this thing happened. This thing happened in 2020 because we have, there's so many things to keep people occupied at home these days. Streaming services, video games, computer, all that stuff is still available. So it is what it is. But anyway, we're going to move forward and we're actually going to talk about some tangible piece of Horror Nights information that dropped this past week. Two pieces that we're going to talk about. Well, three we're going to touch upon and just sort of brush it aside. Of course, I'm talking about ticket prices. We have permit locations, and the first thing I'm going to talk about, but kind of really brush aside, is the news, the interview with Jason Blum over there from Blumhouse. He talked about in an interview where they were promoting The Hunt. He talked about how his company had actually or was in contact or had talks with Universal and Halloween Horror Nights about potentially bringing Halloween Horror Nights to the silver screen as a movie. I am not going to touch that because I think this past week people have been through enough trauma, and I'm not going to drop my controversial opinions on the Blumhouse production company potentially doing a Horror Nights movie. So we're gonna move on from that, but just know that is actually a thing. Like that, apparently that happened. So who knows? Maybe we can have a Horror Nights movie in the future. On top of that, we also had tickets went on sale. We had the BOGO went back, is back this year, and just like it's been for the last couple of years, the BOGO is nothing new. And just like it has been, it's gonna stop in June. Usually around that time is when they actually release the actual tickets for Horror Nights, your single day tickets, your express passes, your frequent fare passes, like all that stuff is usually released once the BOGO ends. So in this case, it ends on June 3rd of this year. The tickets are $84.99, and you can go and you can purchase those right now. There are restrictions, which there have been. I don't think the first year the BOGO went on sale there were restrictions, but I think the last two years they had restrictions on the days that you could physically use. I believe it was using the free day. I didn't write the actual days down, but I could put a screenshot somewhere around here. Future me, if you can find a screenshot, just put it up there so the people at home know what days are restricted. So you can, like I said, you go to the website right now. You can physically buy tickets for the event. So if you would like to do that, those are available to you. $84.99. You have until June 3rd to pick up those tickets. So more power to you. But we're going to move on to something that I don't normally talk about because permits have started to show up on the internet. So construction permits. Now, Horror Nights has to file construction permits with the city of Orlando whenever they start doing construction. And when it comes to Horror Nights, whenever they physically start building inside, structures inside, soundstages or spunk tents or whatever, they physically have to file with the city to tell them that there's a temporary structure or temporary build going on. So every year these come out and everybody goes all Google Gaga over it. I don't pay too much attention to the permits because the only thing that the permits really tell us these days is just where the locations are, and locations generally do not change. Now, you do have an instance like this year where we do have a weird new, not really weird, but a newer location that hasn't been used for quite some time. So a permit came out for Soundstage 23. We know that there's going to be a house. It's actually Soundstage 23A, which is interesting because Soundstage 24 usually houses two houses, and the way that they file the permits for Soundstage 24 is they do A and B. Like for instance, last year us and Yeti. We're in Soundstage 24, A and B. It's interesting that they've labeled it Soundstage 23 A. Could we have two houses in there? I don't know. Full disclosure, like I did last year and like I tried to do this year, I sort of didn't get all the insider birdie information that people usually tell me every year. I tried to limit that as much as possible so I can speculate along with you guys at home. When it comes to this, I was told very early on that there was going to be a location that hadn't been used for a while, and that a location that was used for a while was not going to be used. I want to caution people though, because I never say never to anything when it comes to Horror Nights, because things can drop and change, and things can get all wacky at the drop of a hat. We do not currently have a permit for Soundstage 22. So Soundstage 22 has been used for the last however many years. I believe the last time it wasn't used was 2002 and 2003, which is the years that they had it over, the event was over at Alan's Adventure. And then every year from 2004 on, I believe it's been used, except for this year. I'm pretty confident in saying that Soundstage 22 will not be used this year, and instead we will be using Soundstage 23. But I would caution people, just because all the permits weren't released. We had permits released for the MIB tent, the two sprung tents, the parade building, and Soundstage 23. So those, there might have been one more in there somewhere, but there was nothing for Soundstage 22. I'm pretty confident it's not going to be used, but you never know. Who knows? Maybe they'll drop it. We just don't have a permit for it. But I'll be willing to bet it's not being used. So this, wink, 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 Soundstage 22 is not being used. So when the word of that spread around, there was a lot of speculation as to, what this could mean. Does this mean that they're going to use the stage? Because the line for Soundstage 22 is the one that's in front of the rocket stage. So when you walk by and you see all the, last year it was Ghostbusters. That's the line for Soundstage 22. So everyone was like, oh, well, are they going to use the rocket stage? I don't think so. I think you could still use that area for the line for Soundstage 23. If you are looking at the rocket stage from the Monsters Cafe across the main drag there, Soundstage 23 is a soundstage that's directly to the right of Soundstage 22. When you left Ghostbusters last year, the Soundstage 23 is the one that's immediately to your left. So you can conceivably put a line there to go into Soundstage 23, depending on where the entrance is and stuff like that. If I had to guess, maybe they put the, not guess, but I could speculate they put the entrance on the other side, so not necessarily in between the breezeway. They can go around. Maybe you can have the line sort of eat into where the line usually is for, like last year for Yeti or whatever. You can do a whole bunch of other things. But I'm willing to bet that they use that space for the line for Soundstage 23 as well. I don't see them putting a show on that stage. I think that it's much harder to put a show there. I think crowd control and crowd flow is a little bit harder there because it is a main drag. When you have the stage over by Mel's, when people are coming and going from Central Park, there's usually people are directing people that on one side you go this way and the other side you come this way. But there's also, you can go around and you have the open area that we can go in front of Mel's Dine-In and Mel's Drive-In to get around that. So there's a lot more room to sort of move around there if you wanted to go somewhere else. When it comes to that, I could totally see people just stopping in the middle of the thoroughfare and causing like huge traffic jams and stuff like that, where I don't think it's going to be. It will not be a conducive place to actually put a show. But like I said, I never say never to anything. But I'd be willing to bet that what we do is we still have a line for Soundstage 23 in that same area. I don't think that I do not believe they will use that stage for a show. I don't see that happening. I think the logistics are a little too weird. I just don't. I don't see it happening personally. So, but yeah. So we got the new Soundstage 23 there. Did I mention Soundstage? The last time Soundstage 23 was used was 2011, and you had Nightingales and you had the thing in there. So it's not like it hadn't been used before. They have used it in the past. It just hasn't been used for quite some time. I think the reason why, there's other speculation as to why they're not using Soundstage 22. Usually, generally, when they don't use a soundstage is because there's filming going on, or they're using the soundstage for something else at the time, so that obviously they can't use it for Horror Nights if there's something else going on inside the stage. So it is what it is. That's what I think is going on. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's what I think is going on at this point. Who knows? They could stick a show in there. You know, make the line. You could still have the line, and put a show in the soundstage, soundstage 22. I don't know. They could still do that conceivably. I don't think that's the case, but you know, who knows? But I just think it's more likely that there's, you know, filming going on at the time, and they're not going to use the stage. But anyway, guys, that is it for me for this week. Remember, don't panic. Just you know, watch some movies, play some video games. You know, wait for this thing to blow over. Hopefully, things get a little back to normal here in a couple of weeks. Yeah, just don't be a dick. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Talk to you later.